Now, Nintendo loves money. I don't blame them for it. They're a company after all, and they made some awesome things. However, some stuff they did with the Mario franchise was a bit weird. So today we're going to take a look at the weirdest Mario spin-off games ever made. Number 10. Princess Peach is overall a calm and wise leader, but in Super Princess Peach, she is the hero. But it's a bit, odd, to say the least. You would expect her to be calm and think about the situation. Well, no, throw all of that out of the window now. Overall, the game is still a platformer, so nothing new there. But hey, they added something new: psychotic episodes. As Peach, you run through the peaceful world of the Mushroom Kingdom, but the player is able to help her trigger one of her 4 vibe abilities, also known as extreme mood swings. From completely engulfed in hatred and rage, to crying like somebody just died, or her boyfriend broke up with her. It's almost like she's bipolar or something. I don't know who at Nintendo's headquarters thought this was a good idea, but I can tell you one thing. It was a horrible one. And now Princess Peach must save Mario and Luigi using a talking umbrella called Perry and her powers of emotion. This is the first adventure installment for the Mario franchise, in which Peach appears as a standalone playable character. And of course they had to add some weird gimmick. Nintendo, what even? Number 9. Donkey Kong was a huge thing back in the day of the SNES, Game Boy, and Nintendo 64. Rare made some amazing games back then. And all of this essentially came from the Mario franchise, since Donkey Kong was first seen there. And even now with games like Tropical Freeze, the franchise is doing extremely well. However, there was also a dark age. The time when they made a rhythm game. Yes! Donkey Konga. This game was for the Nintendo GameCube, and it's the first to feature the use of the DK bongos, and here it starts to get weird. You can do all kinds of fun things in this game, like jam sessions. This is when DK and Diddy practice on songs, or street performance. Here you can earn coins. Cool, right? Hell no. What happened to Donkey Kong? I know that Rare left Nintendo because Microsoft essentially stole them. It's so weird and different from the Donkey Kong Country series, and this is not what the people wanted at all. And those bongos also made a ton of noise, which the other people in the room will certainly not like. Luckily enough, this phase is over. Number 8. Now this next one was weird because it was completely different, but it's overall not a bad game. Mario is mostly about platforming. But who the likes that? Said Square Enix. Let's make something totally different. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. A role-playing game which focused a lot on story. It was the first Mario role-playing game with an action command battle system. This was extremely different from any other Mario game. Back then, it was just weird and strange. Mario wasn't made for it after all. But in the end, it wasn't a bad game. Just a huge shift in gameplay, with all kinds of new and wacky characters. The fans of the Mario franchise didn't really know how to respond. In the end, they made more games like this, with the Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi series. So in the end, it worked for them. But still, it came out of nowhere, and when you compare it to the older games they made, then you understand what I mean. And also, the timing was weird. Its success was limited due to the release of the Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64 4 months later that year. I'm not sure why they released it during that time. Number 7. Back in the good old days of Windows XP, you would go onto the PC to mess around in Microsoft Paint sometimes. Just for fun, you know. Well, I did that as a kid at least. And Nintendo saw a great opportunity, which ended up being a horrible mistake. Mario Paint. It was originally bundled with the SNES mouse accessory and was one of the few games to support it, and it received the Player's Choice reissue even. MS Paint for the SNES. This has to be one of the most useless for sure. Why would anyone buy this? The game had stuff like Art Mode, which was an open canvas which you could just go nuts on. It's the main part of the game. This is essentially MS Paint in every way possible, but this time with a Mario theme. Nothing amazing or special about it. Besides that, it doesn't even work that well. You have to use a mouse to draw, which is horrible. With the DS-type drawing games, you had a stylus at least. That works really well and makes way more sense. Now you can also make music, animations, and there's also a fly swatting minigame. So it's a collection of weird things, and I'm not sure what to think of this. But the speedrun looks amazing. Number 6. Now at some point in Nintendo's life cycle, as a company, they developed an unhealthy obsession over Mario sport games. Nobody knows where this came from, but it ended up staying forever, and it wasn't a phase. And this all started with NES Open Tournament Golf, also known as Mario Open Golf in Japan. As the name of the game implies, it's a golfing game, and was one of the first golfing games in the Mario series. Yet again, a weird spin-off game that nobody asked for. There wasn't a target audience for this at all. Just slap Mario on the package and it will do well. That seems to be the mentality at least. Now it wasn't a horrible game, it just came out of nowhere and didn't fit with the Mario franchise at all. And surprisingly enough, they made multiple Mario golf games, while they didn't sell at all. They didn't even reach 1 million. That's really bad for Nintendo. Normally, they get at least more than 2 million in sales, but one of the most recent ones for the 3DS didn't even sell 500,000. Why, Nintendo? Now, lovely people, before we continue, I have something important to share. It's called Quid. This is an app where you can collect cool stickers, cards, and 3D figurines from all kinds of pop culture related stuff. For example, Rick and Morty, which I'm also extremely hyped for because of the 3rd season that's coming soon. Now you might think, why would I collect these stickers and all kinds of other things for nothing? I can't really use them. Well, young lad or lass, don't worry. You can even use them in iMessage, so you can send all your friends some Rick and Morty goodness. Or any other series or game, since there's more than enough. For example, Bob's Burgers, Breaking Bad, Fallout, Family Guy, and way more. And you can even trade with other people, so you can make your collection complete. Overall, this app looks really good. I like the sticker design, and also the animations are very well done. So everyone, be sure to check them out. Link is in the description and in the comments. And be sure to add me. My name on the app is WilyYT. Now let's go back to our little lovely list. Number 5. The next one is also a sports game. Like I said, it wasn't a phase. And this one took it a step further. Well, more like a light year. What's worse than sports games? Well, Sonic, of course. Now don't get me wrong, the 2D Sonics were fun. But in the recent years, they turned that blue hedgehog into a trash can. And of course, Nintendo thought that combining Sonic and Mario would be a great idea. And I can tell you, it wasn't. Not in this way, at least. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. In the game, Mario, Sonic, and their various allies compete against each other in Olympic events. The game has the official Beijing 2008 Olympics license and features environments based on the actual Olympic venues. I hope they made this game mostly to promote the event and that they got paid to do so. If not, they lost money instead of gaining it. Now, combining these two characters would have worked. Nintendo's good at what they do. And Sega, well, if it's 2D, then it should work out. But instead of making a more fitting game for these two characters, they went with some weird sports game. Classic. What a missed opportunity. Number 4. Toad was a really important character, so giving him a game of his own would be a great idea. However, this didn't end very well. Wario's Woods, a puzzle game released for both the NES and the SNES in 1994. From the outside, it looks quite normal, but the ending is especially strange. Toad doesn't chase Wario out of the woods, but instead bombs his castle, so essentially he gets blown up. Don't with Toad. Besides that, it's mostly Tetris, nothing special at all. The ending is mostly weird, and the fact that they even made this game. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. It's as stale as it could be. And just look at how derpy Toad is. But don't forget about the animations when you win, for example. Just look at this. It's these little things that make it feel odd and out of place. And all the people you battle in the game are also strange. We haven't seen them anywhere before. So it's a bit sad that Toad had to end up in such a game. Number 3. Now we all know that Mario is a plumber, so he probably knows some stuff about that. And yes, he does. He even repairs a pipe in Super Mario 3D World. So you would expect some sort of game where he is a plumber. A bit like the original Mario Bros. Well, Nintendo thought the exact same. No, of course not. Nintendo just said that and made Dr. Mario. It's an arcade-style puzzle game and was released for the NES and Game Boy in 1990. The gameplay is very similar to that of Tetris, although in Dr. Mario, the objective is to line up pills to destroy viruses. Now this is extremely out of character. Sometimes, Nintendo's the king of doing weird, unexpected stuff. Yet again, we don't know where they got this idea from, but apparently, they thought this was a great idea. Just slap some little Mario on it, a bit on the left, right, underneath it, that will make it so, right? Well, that's what Nintendo thinks at least. Number 2. Believe it or not, but Nintendo used to work together with Sony, and they did this on the very first PlayStation. However, in the end, Nintendo backed out and made a new deal with the Philips Interactive Media division. This was the worst thing the company ever did, since because of this, the CDI games were a thing. Think of Super Mario's Wacky Worlds, Hotel Mario, and Mario Takes America, all of which were horrible. For some reason, these games look like cheap bootlegs of real Mario games, so I don't know what Nintendo did, but it certainly went wrong. Only Hotel Mario was released. The other two were eventually cancelled even. Says enough, doesn't it? The game was critically panned and gained very little successes, if any at all. This new tech from Philips was supposed to make things better, but it was a huge failure. Now, most games they made for this console were also really weird and mostly spin-off titles that weren't based around platforming at all. So the story and objective was very different from any other Mario game, and the visuals were also off. Overall, a weird set of games. Number 1. Now you might think, what's left? Since I already mentioned the classic CDI games. Surely there's nothing worse than that. Well, there is. In the early 1990s, many educational games were released in the Mario series, which sought to teach skills such as typing, mathematics, or history. Despite being licensed by Nintendo, they are not officially recognized by the company, as it had limited involvement in their production. But still, they are labeled as spin-off games, and have the Mario name, and these games were horrible. I mean, what did you expect? They're video games that try a bit too hard to teach you certain things, so it's really weird, and not a lot of fun. Just like the CDI games, they just missed the mark. I don't really know why they decided to let this happen. Nintendo most likely thought that it would be easy money, since they would just get a split of the profits and didn't have to do anything. But just look at it, it's horrible. Luckily enough, they don't make such games anymore. Alright everyone, don't forget to check out the Quid app, it's tons of fun, and there are a lot of stickers, cards, and 3D figurines to collect. Also, be sure to add me there. My username is WilyYT. Link to the app is in the description and in the comments. Hey everyone, I'll be going to Summer in the City in London this year together with my editor, Commonwealth Realm, and Thief Bug. The event is from the 4th to the 6th of August in the London Excel, and we'll even have our own Zelda panel on Sunday, so come to the event and hang out with us. Link to the event's website is in the description. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's currently 1 PM as I'm doing this voiceover, 1 PM on a Wednesday, and yeah, this was a good script. I liked it. I hope you like it as well. Cheers.